Hello children, welcome you all. Let me introduce you the textbook part 2. This part include 3 chapters: compounds of nonmetals, nomenclature of organic compounds and isomerism, chemical reactions of organic compounds. Let's begin our 5th chapter, compounds of nonmetals. There are various chemicals which play a key role in the agriculture and industrial sector. You may have heard about sulfuric acid, known as king of chemicals. Sulfuric acid, one of the important compounds of nonmetal, used as a raw material in almost all industries. Ammonia, another important raw material for the production of nitrogenous fertilizers. So let's familiarize the methods of production and properties of some of the nonmetals in this unit. Let's begin with the compound ammonia. As I told you, ammonia is an important raw material for the production of nitrogenous fertilizers, which are essential for the growth of plants. Let's know about how ammonia is prepared in the laboratory. This is the experimental setup for the preparation of ammonia in the laboratory. For that, we need calcium hydroxide and ammonium chloride. These chemicals are taken in a hard glass tube. A drying tower containing quicklime, calcium oxide is taken. An inverted gas jar is used for collecting the ammonia gas. Now see, ammonium chloride and calcium hydroxide are strongly heated. Did you see the water molecule as a product? The resultant ammonia gas is passed through the drying tower containing quicklime. Do you know what is the reason? In order to remove the moisture content present in it, the gas is passed through quicklime. Here the quicklime acts as a drying agent. Drying agent are substances which remove the moisture present in it. Did you see the gas jar used for collecting ammonia is kept in an inverted manner? What is the reason? What inference can be made about the density of ammonia? Do you know? Ammonia is less denser than air. Hence, it is collected in this inverted manner. Shall we see another experiment of ammonia? The name of this experiment is fountain experiment. Let us see. A little amount of ammonium hydroxide is added in a round bottomed flask. Add few drops of phenolphthalein reagent to the water taken in a beaker. Now, a thistle funnel which is connected to the round bottomed flask is dipped in the beaker containing water. Now what do you observe? Did you see a fountain? Why does the water rushes into the flask? Do you know? Ammonia is highly soluble in water. As a result, the pressure in the flask decreases as more ammonia dissolves in water. So, water in the beaker lifts up in the flask which is filled with the ammonia. Did you see a color change in this experiment? Why is it so? The ammonium hydroxide formed by dissolving ammonia in water is an alkali. So, which property of ammonia is responsible for this change in color? As you know, ammonia is an alkali. Now let's see the chemical equation when ammonia reacts with water. NH3 plus H2O gives NH4OH. On the basis of following experiments and inferences, let's complete a worksheet based on ammonia. Ammonia is colorless in nature. It is pungent in odor. From the color change in the fountain experiment of ammonia, You may got an idea about its nature. Yes, it is an alkali. The water rushes into the flask in the fountain experiment proves that ammonia is highly soluble in water. While preparing ammonia in the laboratory, the gas jar used for collecting ammonia is kept in an inverted manner because the density of ammonia is less than that of air. Alright, let's end today's class. See you in the next class with another topic. Thank you.